Hi, my name is Cynthia, and I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on parrots, specifically parakeets. They're a very good starting bird. If you're thinking about getting a parrot, I suggest strongly starting out with a parakeet or a cockatiel, which I'll talk about cockatiels later. But they're wonderful little birds, and actually they're well known as one of the best talking birds you can get, even over some of the bigger parrots that you can buy and spend a lot of money for. They're inexpensive little guys. They usually run maybe $15 or more, according to where you buy them. It might be worth spending a little bit more money and getting a more tame bird. They should be as tame as you can get when you buy them. A lot of times when you buy them in a large store, the person will take the bird out and they'll want to bite you. Now, that might be normal in the sense they're a little scared, but if they continue to want to bite, I would stay away from that bird because they're fairly tame, hard to tame down once they're biting. Now, maybe you don't mind being bit. I don't like being bit. And when a little bird bites you, it hurts. I think it hurts more than a bigger bird. They tend to bite you right around the cuticle of your finger or the soft part of the back of your finger, and that hurts. Now, big birds can bite in the same spot, but sometimes they're not as sharp, their beaks are. So if you can get a parrot that's tame right away, usually at 6 months or older, you can get them where they're tamed down. Now, how do you tell their sex? Why do you want to know their sex? Well, females tend to be a little quieter than the males. If you want a parakeet, I should say, that's friendlier, talkative, more active, maybe dancing, doing all sorts of more stuff, being more friendly to you, male might be the way to go. If you don't really care whether they talk or interact like that, females can be just as wonderful and they can be just as loving as the males. Now, how do you tell the difference? You can get what's called DNA testing, where you can get that online, and you take a little bit of blood off their nail and mail it in, and they'll mail it back to you and let you know. When you're looking at them in the store, you can't do that. You got to kind of make up your mind if you're going to get that bird or not. Now, go by what the store employee says. Most of the time, they can tell right away. But if you look at their cere, C-E-R-E, which is right above their beak, if it's blue, purple, it tends to be a male. If it's white or brown, it tends to be a female. Now, they have to be more than 6 months old to really know for sure, because that color does not stabilize until after they're 6 months of age. But down the road, I think it'd be important for you to know the sex of your bird. Besides, I always like to know the sex because when I name them, I like to know whether it's a male or female when I name them. So all of my birds have been tested. Now, I did the DNA test, and it's dangerous because they have to be put under, and they can die. And so if you really love that little bird, you might not have put them in that danger. But it's for sure, and the vet usually comes into a pet store once a month or so and does the testing. And if it's a vet who knows what he's doing, they usually don't have any problems with the parrot down the road. Now, what do you feed the parakeet? You can feed them seed, which is like candy to them, like ice cream, and it tends not to be the healthiest thing in the world. But if you do give them fresh fruits and veggies every day with the seed, then you're probably going to be okay. But I always suggest buying pellets, and you can buy pellets for little birds, and they tend to be a lot more money than the seed, but they're better because they get their minerals and their vitamins from that pellet more than they do from the seed. But seed's okay, again, if you give them fresh fruits and veggies every day. Now, what kind of cage do you buy for a parakeet? They're little guys, so you think they don't need a very big cage, and that's a mistake. You should buy the biggest cage you can afford to buy for a parakeet. You have to look at the different size of the bar spacing, because it's got to be smaller bar spacing. You don't want a bigger one where they can get their head caught in the bar spacing. Sorry about my parrot in the background. But don't buy a round cage, because a square cage is better. They The parrots tend to like to be in corners, and as far as purchase, you can make your own purchase. You can buy the purchase, get cement purchase if you can, at least a couple in the cage, because that helps keep their nails down, so you don't have to bring them in all the time to have the nails clipped. Now, do you have to clip their feathers? You might want to clip their feathers so they don't fly around your house, which they can if their feathers aren't clipped. And it helps keep them tame to have it clipped too. If you want to learn how to do it, you can have somebody show you, but don't try to do it on your own, because you can severely damage your parrot by doing that. So don't ever do it by your own unless you have good strong training to know how to do it. And where do you buy them? Well, you can buy them pretty much at any pet store that they sell live pets. You can't buy them at Target or Kroger or things like that. Now, best way to buy them is to buy them from a breeder, and the breeder might be a little bit more money than the store, or opposite, but I would suggest getting them from a breeder. Now, what else can I tell you about the parrots? I think that's pretty much it with the parakeets. They're wonderful little birds. Again, they're good starter birds. If you think you'd like to try out a parrot, I would suggest getting a parakeet. It was my first bird, and I ended up getting bigger birds down the road, and I love that little parakeet too. If you got something out of this, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I usually put a new video out every Monday, and come back and visit me again. Okay? Bye now.